Did your sales guys reach the 200K KPI they had for 2024, and how to show it in Excel in the most concise way? Let's have a look. Let's left click at our data. Let's use Ctrl A to highlight the data, and let's navigate to the Insert tab. Let's choose Pivot Chart and Pivot Table option to enter the Pivot Table and Pivot Chart. There we go. Okay. We would like to accumulate the data per sales rep, and we would like to accumulate the revenue per sales rep. So what we are going to do, we are going to use sales rep in the Access field and revenue in the Values field. Now I would like to see the sum of revenue in case of euros. To avoid the possible issues with format code, I'm going to use a little trick. Let's use calculated field, and let's just divide the sum of revenue by 1000 to actually see the values in K. So name will be revenue in K, and the formula will be equals to revenue divided by 1000. Add. Okay. I'm going to keep just the sum of revenue in K in our table and chart. So I remove the original sum of revenue, and there we go. Now I'm going to use the format code to change the display of this data so that we really saw number and the K symbol. Let's use right click, number format, and let's use this format code, # and K. Okay, there we go. Now I would like really highlight those sales reps who didn't reach the 200K threshold, and I'm going to make several changes to this chart to really display it in a very concise way. Let's start with sorting. I'm going to right click at the pivot table, and I'm going to use sort from largest to smallest. And now I'm going to use the threshold line of 200K. I'm going to use the calculated field in a pivot table, analyze fields, items and sets, calculated field, and the name will be threshold in K, and the formula will be just equals to 200. 200 stands for 200K, but you know we are going to use the same formatting as this revenue in K option, so let's continue. Add. Okay, I'm going to apply the same formatting, number format, custom, and let's just search for it. In case you don't see it here, you can write it yourself, so you are going to use the # and capital K. In this stage, I won't need pivot table fields anymore, so I'm going to close them, and I'm going to continue with the changes of our chart. I'm going to change the threshold so that we can see it as a line chart. Let's have a look. So left click at the chart, let's navigate to the Design tab, change chart type, and I'm going to use combo and make sure that sum of revenue is shown as cluster column and sum of threshold is shown as line chart. Now we are getting pretty close to the finish line, but let's make our message even more clear. Now I won't need this legend. Okay, I'm going to delete the grid lines on the chart, and I would like to highlight Jane and Zoe in color. Let's make our threshold line red. So I'm going to left click at the threshold line. Let's navigate to the format, and now pay attention. What's maybe not that intuitive, you need to use shape outline to change the color of the line. And we are going to accommodate the Jane and Zoe to the similar formatting. So left click at the column, you will highlight all the columns. Again, one left click at the Jane to change the color of Jane's column. So maybe let's choose this type of formatting. And again, let's use shape outline and the red. I'll use exactly the same for Zoe. Now I would like to display the value of 200K on the chart itself. Okay, let's move this chart a little bit to the left, and let's use left click at the line, and again left click to highlight just one point. Now I'm going to use this plus sign, data labels, and I'm going to navigate to the option above. Okay, now I can see the 200K straight away on the chart. I'm going to left click it, and I'm going to use shape fill, this one, and shape outline red. Now I'd like to increase the size of the font for vertical and horizontal axis and for data labels. So let's left click at the vertical axis, and let's navigate to the Home tab to increase the font size, and the same for the horizontal axis, and let's increase the font size. Okay, let's do the same for the data labels. There you go. Okay. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to add the chart title. Let's move the chart to the left. Let's use the plus sign, chart title, and let's choose above the chart. And I would like to insert title, which really describes what I want to say. So what I want to say is that Jane and Zoe didn't reach the threshold. So let's call it Jane and Zoe didn't reach the 200K KPI. What I don't like on this chart is that I still can see these field buttons, these gray buttons. So let's get rid of them. Let's left click at the chart and let's navigate to the pivot chart, analyze, and let's use field buttons and hide all. Okay, there we go. What would I do next is that I would get rid of the grid lines on the sheet itself. So let's left click at one of the cells on the sheet and let's get rid of the grid lines. Let me know in the comments what else would you do to make this chart even more concise. Thanks for watching and don't forget to ring the bell on my profile.